Warning, this video is intended for adult collectors. It contains plastic collectibles, questionable opinions, and a reviewer who should have retired by now. You have been warned. This is Random Review.
Before we begin, thank you very much to Zilla CDXX for joining the Patreon campaign. Thank you very much. Good to see you back. Always appreciate seeing some returning faces to the Patreon campaign. And appreciate all of the nonsense you guys make me shout out for you. We have successfully made it to, oh my god, was this like 9 months straight? Something crazy, something like 8 or 9 months straight of shout outs every single episode. You people are insane. And I love all of you. Thank you for pitching in, because it really is why I'm able to keep doing this for everybody. So we're going to take a Transformer break today because I got this in the mail, and this is an extremely important piece for me. We are staring at the Master Morpher. The Morpher that Tommy Oliver used during his appearance in Ninja Steel to access all of his past forms, which is an incredibly cool idea, and obviously another chance to put out a retro Morpher, so no one's going to pass that opportunity up. This is a really significant piece because while it's not the last role of Jason David Frank's life, it is the last time he ever portrayed Tommy Oliver. These are the last voices the original Green Ranger ever spoke. So it's a beautiful piece to look at, but kind of a sad one to listen to. So regardless, I'm happy that Hasbro actually did release it finally. So let's go over this in basic detail. Like most of my reviews, I'm going to be way too in-depth about something that you really just want to hear all the funny noises from. But you can see it is their traditional Morpher style. It's the same mold that they have been using for their Morphers. So no big surprises if you are familiar with that. If you've gotten one, you pretty much know how all of them work at this point. Obviously, the gold chrome, that's different. It is not die-cast, and it is certainly not 24 karat like some of the legacy Tommy Morphers are. But if you're going to do an ultimate Morpher for Tommy, it has to be gold, right? So the black details are still there from the original Morpher, but the emblem, which is either Jew-Ranger or Power Ranger, depending on which version of the toy, has been replaced with the kind of techno red design to get the Red Ranger elements in there, and then the green background instead of the traditional red, which actually works well because right behind here is the green circuit board, so it kind of blends in pretty well. On the back side, we see the traditional detailing done up in a paler shade of gold, and then, yeah, more Jew-Ranger accurate detailing there that Power Rangers usually skipped on their old school Morphers, but they're present on Hasbro's classic versions. Handle, just like always, folds down. Remember, it has to go on the low side because you are holding it like this, so make sure you do it properly. We will be judging you if you do it wrong. That said, in order to demonstrate for the camera, we have to do it wrong. Which does remind me, by the way, I apologize for my voice being a little bit weird. Last time I tried to use my real microphone to demonstrate a toy, it noise gated all of it and made editing a nightmare. So we're just going to go with raw camera audio for this to make sure you hear it nice and clear. So, while we're holding it like this, let's hit that red button on the side and see what happens. So that's a pretty standard design for most of these. It will sound like it's shorting out if it does not have a coin to route its power through, which, you know, is not a bad little touch. Not a bad way of doing it. They had to incorporate something. While it's open, we're going to take a closer look. You can see around the edge where you got that crackling lightning detail, which kind of invokes the original backdrop to the original morphing sequence. Not a bad touch, not a bad call. So, you know, it's much nicer than just making it flat green or red on the traditional morphers. You can also see how this toy is going to function. There are 4 micro switches surrounding the center, and depending on what coin you put in, it's going to depress some of those buttons, and that is how the Morpher tells what is installed at the time. So, my only fear with these is I've had toys function similar to this, and those switches eventually broke leaving something inside them to constantly depress those switches. And that caused a few really heartbreaking losses in my toy collection. So I'm almost hesitant to leave a coin on display inside this thing, which is a little bit unfortunate, but is what it is. So, yeah, it's a beautiful job on the Morpher. Definitely feels like, something Tommy would have designed just for him, just to access everything he ever did. Alright, so before we get into the coins, let's actually take a look at everything else you get. First off, there is that display stand. It's a nice rocky style. They've done these similar, these kind of display bases also come with the other Morphers. I've seen them in particular with the Morphers that are based on individual Rangers. So like I have a Pink Ranger Morpher that came with this same display stand. But they have upgraded it, so there is a storage compartment inside of it now. If you don't want the power coins on display, you can still keep them nice and safe with the display base and the Morpher itself. So that's a nice little touch. I'm probably going to use it to store the coins that came with the Pink Ranger, honestly. That way I've got all the power coins in one spot. But yeah, it's a nice little basic kind of rocky texture to it, and you've got spots for 5 coins to mount up and keep on display. Not a bad little piece. You're also going to get this piece, which goes onto your belt. This is a pretty standard component regardless of what modern power morpher you've bought. Even Bandai's came with one of these. On the back side, you've got the clips here, which will clip it onto your belt or the front of your waist, of your pants, whichever. And yeah, that's just pretty standard for wearing your morpher around. Speaking of, there's a little bit of a caveat to this. So if we install the Morpher like so, it's a very loud snap-in. It's going to hold it very, very firmly. That Morpher is not going anywhere. However, these are not supposed to be used this way. While it does hold firmly, it's supposed to go like this, so that it looks more like a standard belt buckle. It hides the fact that you're wearing a power morpher around. You're supposed to be a secret superhero. And it keeps the handle very close to access so the morpher can be drawn at any point. Unfortunately, this is not designed to work this way, so it's just being held in by friction at that point. So best not to use it in that way. Instead, we're going to just, probably disregard it because it's really only going to be used for display. I'm not walking around. I'm not risking something this pretty getting damaged because it's all chrome. I don't even want to risk it getting scratched up. So let's put this aside and we'll look at the main feature, the main attraction. A lovely addition of power coins to our collection. So we'll start with the gold standard. That being the Green Ranger's Dragon Coin. Beautifully rendered. Really like to see it. These are die-cast, by the way. Very nice and heavy, solid feeling. And because this is kind of patterned after the original Power Morpher toy, yeah, you see those little clips at the top. Admittedly, the Bandai Legacy version did not have those. The power coin's a little bit more solid, but this holds in a lot better. There's a very famous clip of... Austin St. John trying to morph at a convention and the coin goes flying out of the morpher. That doesn't happen on these. The backside is all the same kind of generic power emitting design. It's mostly just basic detail. Nothing really special on the backsides of any of them. But yeah, it's a really nice finish. Really nice finish. Might have preferred a little bit of a brighter gold, but it gives it a little bit more of an ancient look if that's what you like. There's the White Ranger coin. Straight out of Die Ranger's design playbook. Yeah, and I'm happy they included this and not that weird white tiger coin that came with the original toy. That would have been funny to include, but this is kind of what we expect now. If we look on the back again, you'll see that the pattern of these little blocks around the edge are different on each coin. That's how it tells what coin is installed at the time. Just so you are aware. We've got the Falcon coin, which is cool to do because the Ninja coins are unique to the American design. And this is actually a really cool thing because you kind of forget that the Ninja Powers actually did have a unique suit design. They just powered up further into the traditional suits. So it's cool to include it. It's also one that was not shown in Ninja Steel. Really happy they included those as well. Alright, Zeo coin. The only one that actually is painted. And part of me likes the fact that they painted it because, it actually is supposed to represent the Zeo crystal basically being installed into a power coin. And I love all the tech greeble around it. It is very much in the style of what I now know as O-Ranger. But at the same time, it does make it mismatch all of the others. And so ultimately, I think I would have preferred it just being raw metal. But it is what it is. It's just, Zeo's just got to stand out, I guess. Moving on. Interesting, it's turbo, and it's just it's straight up using the Car Ranger emblem. And that's actually, I wish they had gone a little bit heavier on this one. Like, Zeo got a lot of nice little detail, but this feels like it's got a lot of open space they could have worked with. But still, it's nice to be included. Again, he didn't use this one in Ninja Steel, and even Jason David Frank admits that he doesn't feel like the turbo powers are his. So it's still nice that they threw that in just to make sure it's a complete set. And then his final main Ranger form, Dino Thunder Black, looking very much like the dragon emblem now that I look at it again. That's actually kind of appropriate. But yeah, it's actually really cool. All these are really well sculpted. They look, about how I'd expect some ancient power coins to look. And that is going to bring us to the portion everyone was waiting for, demonstration. So, every one of these coins cycles through a different set of noises. Once you hear a repeat, you've gone through everything. So, we're just going to take it one at a time. And once it starts repeating, we're going to move on. So, let's start with the classic. Twist it into place. Lights turn green. It knows it is the Green Ranger coin. All set, primed, ready. It's morphin' time.
It's morphin' time.
I just said that. The power hum has always been a little bit weird. I would have really preferred like some big flash, kind of like how it sounds when the transformation goes off in the show. But it is what it is. And I understand why, because there's more than just transformation cries in this thing. Like so.
Green Ranger power now!
Alright, let's keep going.
Dragon sword!
There's the traditional morphing cry.
1993, it's morphin' time!
Yes, we know how old this franchise is.
Sometimes, the original is the best.
So you got little quips like that in there too.
Dragon sword power now!
Traditional, classic, love it.
It's morphin' time!
And there we go. So that's the green coin, and that pretty much gives us everything we could have wanted out of that one. Let's see if the same holds true for the White Ranger coin. And there you see the lights turn as bright white as they can through that green. You don't have to close it up between them, by the way. I just like to do that just to signal that we're going to a new one.
White Ranger, Tiger power!
You can actually hear that like the actual like button audio is a little bit different on some of these coins, even though it sounds similar.
Now, I just need Saba and the gang's back together.
I've got Saba at home, we can do that.
It's a Tiger style.
Classic Jason David Frankism.
Alright, Saba, let's do it!
Nice, nice.
Ooh, Tiger style.
I don't like the repetition on Tiger Style there, if I'm going to be honest.
Tiger power! Isa!
More karate noises.
White Ranger, Tiger power!
Okay, so did you notice what I noticed? There's no transformation cry. There's no just plain Tiger Zord. In fact, throughout that entire sequence, he doesn't even mention the Tiger Zord. He keeps going Tiger Style, which doesn't feel like a Tommy line, if I'm going to be honest with you. Okay, let's see how the Falcon does. Once again, it's going to glow white for us. And once again, it's morphin' time again. The clock is broken. It's always morphin' time.
Ancient powers of the ninjas, gonna take you down.
Interesting that it's the ninja power that's ancient and not the literal dinosaurs.
White Ranger, Falcon Zord.
Now you're calling out for your Zords.
Power up.
A little generic.
Let's do it, guys.
Also generic, but then again, you're basically the same White Ranger. Don't blame you.
Ninja Ranger power.
Alright, is there another one in there?
Falcon Zord now.
Okay, there's the Zord cry.
Ancient powers of the ninjas, gonna take you down.
Yeah, so again, Season 3 had its own morphing call, which is not represented in here. But then again, we know how it's been edited over the years, so I can kind of see why Hasbro skipped it on this one. So I'm not going to begrudge it as much as I did the White Ranger coin. Alright, Zeo. These things get a little bit... different installation noise, and the first time we see the red lights. Alright. Yet again, morphin' time. What are the odds?
Time to show you how it's done. It's morphin' time.
There we go.
Crystal-powered Morpher, Zeo 5, activate.
Alright. I like it.
Zeo Ranger 5, now.
That's close. Do we have the real one in there?
You're in for a surprise.
Okay. I never get tired of the Tommy noises.
It's time for the original to show you how it's done.
You're not the original. You're number 6.
Zeo Ranger 5, red.
That's the one I was looking for.
Time to show you how it's done. It's morphin' time.
So, again, my confusion over the White Ranger coin continues. Alright, so we move on to the next red form. Let's do the turbo. Alright. Alright. Hey, guess what? It's not morphin' time anymore. We can shift into turbo now.
Red lightning, turbo power, now.
Zord summoning, always like it.
All right, guys, shift to the turbo.
Good. That's what I want.
Nothing's gonna slow me down.
Okay, generic but appropriate.
Ready? Let's do it. Shift to the turbo.
Okay, still shifting to the turbo.
Can't slow down the Turbo Red Ranger. Red lightning, turbo power, now.
Okay, not as many quips for that one. But no, this is still, like, I'm happy they even acknowledged it. Because even Jason David Frank rarely did. And that leaves us with one to go. So let's do Dino Thunder. Again, different sound effect. Sounds like a crystal being installed. And we have darker lights, which they can't really do black light, so they're doing as close as they can. Alright. Dino Thunder, power up.
Dr. O, coming right at you.
Well, at least we confirmed that he has upgraded his career status.
Brachial power, now. All right, Cheeseball. Dino Thunder, Black Ranger.
Cheese ball?
Brachial power, coming in. It's it.
The classic Tommy noise.
First of all, never call me dude. It's Oliver. Tommy Oliver, PhD.
Long one that time.
Dino Thunder, Black Ranger. Dr. O, coming in.
I think there's a few more than this. Hang on.
Brachial power, now. All right, knuckleheads, power up.
Who are you calling knuckleheads? That better not be the rest of your team. That's rude. Okay, maybe not as sequenced as I thought, but I think we got through all the noises I've heard this thing make so far, unless there's just my RNG is so bad it skipped a few. This for finishing it up. I'm gonna put the classic back in.
Don't worry, this is a good kind of green.
Thank you, Tommy. Thank you. Alright. So, once you're done, clip it into that. Spring up the rock again. And that will fit nice and snug right there on top. And then it's just basically however you want to display your Morpher. Like I said, Zero Ranger 5 kind of makes things a little bit awkward, so I usually like to put that one in the middle. We'll flank it with both of the White Ranger coins. So there's the Tiger, and there's the Falcon. And then, for me, like the lesser of his abilities, because he wasn't turbo for long, and he spent most of that series trying to not be in the series. So that's usually how I boil it down. So yeah, that is the Master Morpher. So it's feature loaded, and it's great to hear Tommy's voice, even if some of the dialogue doesn't quite sound like him. And yes, there's a few quips and lines in there I wish they had included. But for what I could hope for, everything is here, and it is a very, very nice package and a fitting tribute to the most popular Power Ranger of them all. The only issues I have with it, aside from a few missing lines, is the aforementioned micro switches and how long they're going to last, is also the fact that, if you noticed, unless I'm either very blind or very dumb, and I don't think I'm either, I have not found an on-off switch on this toy. So if you're going to leave it for display, make sure you take the batteries out first. But other than that, yeah, I'm not trying to make a pun when I say it is a masterful job and just an overall fantastic piece. So there you go. I believe these are still up on pre-order at Hasbro Pulse. Wouldn't surprise me if they're sold out by the time you watch this. But, you know, that's how these things go. So, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the demonstration, and I will see you next time.
I'm like, I think you guys got this. I will back away, and I will see you all later.
You've got this handled.
Alafi's like, really? You're not gonna help me? Like, it's fine now.
It's like these disgusting creatures breathing down my neck, and you're all just like, I believe in you. You got this.
All right, you seem to have this. 5 minutes.